Welcome everybody to the hot seat. I'm your host, Pastor Chris Allen, and I'm super excited that you decided to join us tonight. Our first guest is going to be Paris Elliott, and she's going to talk to us about mindful meditations and how we can better connect spiritually with God. So why don't you sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome, Paris. Good to see you again. Under these circumstances, obviously.
Thank you, Pastor Chris, for having me today. Thank you.
So, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your faith walk, your journey, who you are. Who is Paris Elliott?
Okay, well, my name is Paris Elliott, and I am originally from Chicago, and I'm now living in Baltimore. I practice Reiki, yoga. I do meditation and affirmations. That's what I do currently. It was not always that way, and I don't know, should I share more about myself or go into my journey?
Your journey, tell us about your journey.
Okay, well, I will start with 2019. And then in 2019, I was in a car accident. And at the time, I was working at Progressive. And I thought that it was where I wanted to be. I was moving up very quickly there. I just felt like there was some blessings on blessings on blessings there. I will say that. But I started to hit like a standstill there. And then the accident happened. Now, this accident seemed like it could have been like a regular accident, but it started to spark a lot of anxiety in me. And it had a lot to do when I would go into work. I would be anxious all the time. They said that I had like severe anxiety, and I started to like cry every time I would take a phone call. It was just a 180, complete change from how I was before going into work. And for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to push through. Throughout that time, I went on work leave a lot, and I was on like lots of medications that I was not on prior to this accident. And at one point, my doctor said, I think that you should look into like yoga. My mom had already taught me about like meditating, but when I got into yoga, I started to meditate more, and I found like a different way to connect with God through meditation. So that was the one thing that I'm grateful for that came out of the accident.
Yeah.
But I was still trying to work at Progressive because that was my job, and that's where I thought I was supposed to be. I kept going on work leave, kept trying to figure it out. It seemed like every time I would step in the door, it was like a weight on my chest, and things would just happen where it's like, I gotta go. And I didn't know what it was at the time. Now I know it was just God saying, this is not where you're supposed to be.
Right.
And I do believe that the accident was like the first wake up call, like, hey, I'm trying to reach out to you and tell you something, and you're not listening. But I kept going in because sometimes we don't listen,
Yeah.
So I ended up getting my yoga certificate through practicing yoga. I did a yoga teacher training, and I got a certificate for yoga. That moved me into mindfulness and meditation. I started doing affirmations every morning on my Instagram page. Now at work, I could barely talk. I could barely breathe. But when I did the Instagram with the affirmations and meditation, I was like talking freely. So it was just like, why at work there's a block, but when I do something else, it's working. And again, I think that was God saying, hey, this is where you're supposed to be. You see, you would talk here, you can speak freely, you feel comfortable. And when you go back there, there's a block.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to God. I'm gonna leave this alone. I don't have a plan at all. I don't have I don't have another job. I haven't been applying to any jobs. And my friends and family are like, Paris, you can't quit your job because you don't have anything lined up.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, well, God told me to leave here. Like, if I can't talk here, if I can't breathe, if I'm having panic attacks, I'm on like 7 different medications. Why am I staying here?
Right.
That's a sign. So um, I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna quit this job, but I'm gonna need you to look out for me because I got bills.
Right, right.
So I quit my job. And a few days later, this was the sign where I was like, God said, you did well. You did well. A few days later, my mom's friend called me and said, hey, I have this house that I want you to stay in while it's getting worked on. And I was like, okay, well, what do I got to do? Nothing. Just stay there. Okay. So
No bills in
like I don't got to give you any. Nope. Just stay there. Okay. So I'm staying, so now I have a place to stay. So I got shelter. Thank you. Um, and it's like, for me, that was just saying, that was God saying, I just needed you to trust me. I
Yeah.
needed you to trust what I'm doing for you because I'm putting you in the place where you need to be.
Hmm.
Um, while I've been at the house, um, I've been able to start a Reiki practice as well. And it was so weird because I've been like running around trying to get things together. And again, I prayed. I'm like, God, I really want to start doing something, but it's just so much and I'm overwhelmed. Can you help me? I went into meditation. As soon as I came out of meditation, I had a text message from my mom, like, I'm on my way to help you. Like, and I'm like, I didn't call her. I didn't say anything to her. And she's just on her way to help me. And I asked God for help and she's showing up. Like, look, like he answered
Right,
my
right
prayer
there.
like this. Um, it's just I could tell when I'm getting closer to what he has in store for me.
Mhm.
And then I could tell when I'm like veering off the path because it's gonna be those blocks.
Yep.
I can't talk. I've been off my medicine for like 2 months and I feel fine. I have narcolepsy, which means like I have excessive daytime sleepiness. I'm always getting tired. This has been the most energy I've ever had in my life.
Oh,
And I believe it's because I'm going toward what God's purpose and God's divine plan is for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an amazing story. I mean, I can relate because I've been in a car accident that really like changed my perspective, my whole life around, and just like God, like the accident I was in, like literally, like I should have even been dead or brain dead. I lost total control of the
Mm.
car, and all I said, I remember my mom saying, "Call out Jesus' name; He's there for you, right there." And so I called out
Mhm.
Jesus' name, and the car automatically stopped. Like, and I didn't have a seatbelt on or anything, and I was able to walk out of that car accident with a chipped tooth, which I still have today because it's my testimony, right?
Yes.
Um, it's just amazing how God comes into our lives, interrupts the situation and speaks into us and encourages us. And then it's like, okay, like for you, like, and for me as well, and so many others, it's like, okay, I'll do what you asked me to do, God. Now I'm just floating. Because I don't know what's
Yes.
beneath me. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what I'm gonna be hit with on the side or whatever. And God
Mhm.
just ultimately continues to show us and continues to like be there and just guide us as we go through. It's like you don't know what's next, but hey, I'm gonna trust God.
Yes.
And so it's just amazing what God can do and how he can move throughout our lives and just really change us and impact the journey of our life.
Mhm.
Um, so what you mentioned you like to meditate, right?
Yeah.
Uh, is that your favorite way to connect with God? And for those out there who want a better way of connecting with God, how do you encourage them? And what are some routines that you do to,
Mhm.
you know, meditate with God?
I'm glad you asked. So I will say prior to this experience, I used to say like, okay, I'll just kind of say a little prayer. And I was like fixated on like the prayers that I learned in church, which is fine because I still use them now. But I think I was just saying the words, I was not feeling it. And now I feel like meditation is my way of connecting with God. That would be my favorite way to connect. And another one that I picked up recently was writing down exactly what I'm praying for too. Um, so it's like on paper.
Right.
And then I don't know what the difference is, but for some reason, it's been a difference in my life. I write it down and then I may like just set it to the side, like, well, a routine. Here's my routine. On Sunday night, I write down some things that I pray for during the week. And then by next Sunday, I look at those and I'm amazed on how many prayers have been answered. And if
Mm,
any hasn't been answered, I'm still okay because I'm like, okay, well, that just means it's not time for that one yet.
right.
But I wasn't doing that before. Like I would just say like little random things, like kind of pray maybe once or twice a week, if that. But now every morning as a routine, as soon as I wake up, I thank God that I'm alive
Yeah.
first and foremost. And then I'll go into meditation. And a lot of times I don't even know, like I may not have a full intention on my meditation. If I don't, then I'm just meditating to hear God clearly.
Hmm.
And whatever comes out of that, fine. Sometimes it's nothing, but throughout the day, He's going to show up.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm like, oh, okay, great. Yes, I'm glad that I did that. And then at night, I thank God for the day that I had. And I'm grateful. And because I practice Reiki, there's five Reiki principles that I say every morning. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will be grateful. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. And just for today, I'll be kind to every living thing. So for me, those are just affirmations that I live by. But the main thing I would say, start, meditating. It may seem weird at first, but just kind of close your eyes and tune in, start to feel what's going on in your body. That's life force energy. That's
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's God's love to me just flowing through my body. And just
Exactly.
knowing that makes me happy. So I'd say close your eyes for 5 minutes and see what happens.
Right, right, and part of that is trusting the process because, like you said, that prayer might not get answered in that day or in that time, and it's just like
Mhm,
I got to just go through the process. I have to trust God is going to
mhm,
lead me and guide me in the right direction, and whatever He's got the plans for my life, right? As Jeremiah
mhm,
29:11 tells us, right? So God knows the plans for our life. He's not going to set us up for failure. He's not going to see us fall and not be able to help us get back up or anything like that, but He's right there
mhm,
with us. I think that's a great way, right now. And the reason why I'm so touched by your story is because I was trying to figure out more ways in which I can sit down and connect with God that's different, man. Sometimes you don't
mhm.
want to be repetitive. You want to switch it up sometimes. And,
Yeah.
and God doesn't care. Like He's just like, look, long as you talk to me, it's fine.
Yes.
But I'm like, God, I
Mhm,
want I want to be more a little creative too. I want to do some different things as
mhm,
well. And so one of the things that I was trying to think about even during Lent was how to just sit down in the mornings and just meditate with God on His word and just sit in His presence. And I've done that a few times, and I'm telling you, it is truly amazing,
yeah.
amazing technique of just sitting there, just removing everything off your mind and just chilling in God's presence. And you
Yeah.
feel His presence, you feel the warmth, and
It's, it's
it's
like He's giving you a big hug while you're sitting there.
exactly like
Oh, thank you.
take focus on me and not what's happening in the world. With us dealing
Mhm,
with so much that we have going on, yesterday coming off the George Floyd trial, right?
yeah.
And then we have violence, in our cities and everything, COVID happening, people just dying left and right. It's just so much, that we
Mhm,
consume, and then social media doesn't make it any better, right? And then so
yep.
you have all this stuff that you're consumed in your mind, and it's like, God, I need a break. Sometimes you just have
Mhm,
to like put down the phone. You have to put down, cut off the TV, and you just have to sit. And sometimes I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago in Bible study. Sometimes people are a little nervous, a little scared to pick up the Bible because you don't understand some of the things in it, maybe.
mhm,
And so it looks a little scary to dive deeper into it. But sometimes all you have to do is just have a little talk with God and just sit in His presence. Meditating it, I think, is a great way of doing that. And so
yeah.
commend you on that, and definitely anyone else out there that wants to experience that, I'm telling you, it is a great, wonderful thing to do.
Mhm,
Sometimes you when you go to God in prayer, it's like, okay, what do I say? Like I've met people that say like,
mhm.
well, what do I say? You
Oh,
know,
that was me.
so how did you
That
like overcome that?
I I talk to him like I'm talking to a friend. Like,
That's it.
hey, this is going on, you know, and it starts to kind of like switch up, I guess. Like sometimes I feel like he may be speaking through me or he's ordering my words, or something. Because a lot of times it's just a conversation. Like we're having a conversation right now. I just have a conversation.
That's it.
And it may seem weird, like I'm talking to myself, but I'm like, nope, I'm talking to God.
Yep.
He's meeting me where I am. So we're good. Like I don't have to talk. And that was the thing. Like if you're asking somebody else, what should I say? You're not being your authentic self. Like God knows who you are. If
Yep.
you stumble, it's okay. He know what you mean. He know your heart.
Yep.
So I talk to him like I would talk to a friend.
Yep. And the best part about God is he already knows what you're coming to him for before you even ask. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing how he works. He already knows. So whatever it is on your heart, just say it. Just speak it because he already knows. He's the true friend. And he's there with us when we need him. And he knows our heart. He knows our heart and where we are. So so for those out there who, women, the other Paris Elliott's out there, who, have a job, nice job, nice little lump sum, like nice income. But they feel God pulling them in a different direction. They feel like God is calling them to something. May not be like pastoral ministry or anything like that, but more so of doing something in the community, helping homeless, and things like that. How do you encourage them? What would you say to that person who really is in this full-time 9-to-5 job, but they don't want to be there because they really hear God pulling at them to go in a different direction, but they're a little scared because one, you don't have a cushion, you don't have anything to fall on, if it doesn't work out or anything like that. How do you encourage them?
Okay. Now, I don't want to say like quit your job.
Yeah,
Like
don't quit.
so I'm not saying that. I mean, that may be what God is telling you to do, and if that's the case, then quit your job. But the first thing I'd say I did, because I was listening to God, but I was still, still had my mind like, okay, I'm focusing on what other people are saying. So the first thing I would say is be grateful for where you are at the moment. I never was like, I just hate it here. This isn't working. I was always grateful for where I was in that moment. And I think that that was a powerful thing to sit in, because if I wasn't, I don't know how this would have went. So being grateful for where I was my first step. My second step was asking specific questions to God, like, okay, God, is this exactly what you want me to do? And if so, please give me a sign. And y'all saw he kept giving me signs.
Yeah.
Car accident. I mean, it may sound like a bad thing, but it's actually the biggest blessing of 2019 for me.
Yeah.
Just give me a sign. And he kept giving me signs. Even when I stopped asking for signs, they were still there. And then there was something else. Okay. So I asked for a sign and just stepping out on faith. Once I got that sign, once I was grateful for where I was, when I saw that, like, some things were just falling into line and other things I had blocks, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to take this leap of faith and I'm going to leave, because that's what he's telling me to do. So be grateful for where you are. Ask those specific questions to God. Might want to sit in meditation, because he's going to give you some downloads. He's going to be like, here you go. This is all you need to know. And even if it's not a full plan, because sometimes God just gives us what we need.
Yep.
It's not like a whole A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It may be A, Z.
Yeah.
Just go with it. Go with the flow.
Exactly.
And if it's a block, for me, if it's a block, that means go this way. And when I tell you, people started to call me, I didn't put out any resumes or anything. Like, I want you to do this yoga for, like, can you do mindfulness and yoga for children? Like, I'm getting calls and emails. Can you do this? And I'm like, okay, yep, I did the right thing. So yeah, be grateful for where you are and ask specific questions.
Exactly.
And then take that leap.
There you go. That leap of faith, and trust the process, right? Because
trust the process. Yeah.
To trust it. Sometimes we don't know what God is up to and why God does the things he does. But trust, he has a plan. He has a plan. Um,
Sometimes I'm glad that he leaves out some things because
exactly.
I did not. I might have gotten overwhelmed. So leave
Right.
that one out.
Because if he tells you everything and he spoils it for you, then
Mhm.
it's like, you never know which way you can end up going. You mentioned one important thing, and I think it's great for parents like myself and other parents out there watching. You said that you do mindfulness for kids, right? Um, we're in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of kids are still at home, um, overwhelmed by the computer screen and technology and things like that. What techniques do you say you suggest the parents use at home, whatever, for their kids to use, for meditating?
Well, I do a lot of like breathing techniques because we don't realize a lot of times we're either holding our breath or we get anxious and we start breathing rapidly.
Yeah.
So with children, I find if you just kind of start to slow their breath down,
Mm.
there is a world of a difference. And a lot of times, just turning off one form of your senses, like closing your eyes. Kids these days, they're on their phone all the time. They're on a computer screen. They're looking at the TV. All five of their senses are just like do 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 do. So like when you start to slow them down, like close your eyes, now breathe. You find that they like sometimes their shoulders are all the way up here. By the time they're done with this breathing and their eyes are closed, they start to just relax and they become calm. So a lot of times we they're all on 10 and then we come to them on 10.
Yeah.
So it's not really working. So it's like when I see my niece, and that's when I started with the children and the mindfulness. I see her and she's like, Titi, Titi. Well, instead of auntie, she says Titi. She's like, or she'll say something with her friends. And I'm like, okay, let's just relax. Let's just breathe. And she's like, okay. And she'll take a deep breath and then calm down. And the next thing you know, like her words are coming out and I can hear what she's saying and it's just flowing. And I'm like, okay, we're good now, right? And she's like, yes. So now she loves to meditate with me and we do a lot of love meditation. So she loves to send out love to her friends. And during the meditation, and you can do this with your children, I tell her, close her eyes, we take a few deep breaths, and then we see a big balloon, and then we pop the balloon, and all these hearts come out the balloon and fall on all her friends, her teachers, and her family members. And she's like, and I could tell that she's doing because she's like just smiling from ear to ear. And I can see her, put her hand up and pop the balloon. But we'll sit for, kids that don't sit that long, but we'll sit for like 5 tops 10 minutes, but I don't know if it can get to 10. But I could tell a difference when she's done popping that balloon and putting all that love out there to her friends, family, teacher. And she's like, my teacher feels it too. And I'm like, yes, your teacher feels the love that you just gave her.
Yeah.
But I call it the love bubble, but that's a good one for children. They
Yeah.
love it.
Wow. That sounds good. And I know my little one, he would love that. Like he'd go crazy off
Mhm.
that. So I no, I appreciate that, and I know a lot of parents will appreciate that because it is a lot right now on kids, and not just kids but parents as well. I mean, so thank you so much, Paris. I can't thank you enough. Where can people find you? I know you have a YouTube channel, and that you do yoga through there as well, mindful meditations. Can you please share that with us?
Yes. So on Instagram, I am Paris Love, but you spell it PARISLOB 3, like the number three. And on YouTube, it's meditation for the culture, but between each word, there's a period. So meditation dot, or it may be meditation dot for the culture. I'm sure Chris can get that
Yeah,
fixed for us,
I got you. I got you.
but it's meditation for the culture. Whatever I post on Instagram, I try to repost it on YouTube. Sometimes if it's a live video, it doesn't get to YouTube. So my Instagram may have more, but you'll still find some things on YouTube.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I am so grateful, appreciative of everything that you have done. Again, you have really encouraged me, served as a motivation for me, with my
Thank you, thank
ways of connecting with God and so many other people who watching this, I hope, are inspired and transformed by this and encouraged by this as well. Um, you do have the GoFundMe out there. Did you want me to share that?
you yeah, you can share it. I give to my community, so any help that I receive, I appreciate.
And we definitely want to support you in what you're doing and I know that God is opening doors for you, your testimony, for you to be where you are. It's showing what God is doing. God is opening those doors for you. And so I'm excited to hear about what God is going to do in you and through your ministry and how he's going to continue to like lift you up and keep you right. So
Awesome.
um that is awesome. So thank you so much. We're going to do this again. I promise.
Thank you,
uh
Chris. And I love what you're doing with the community. I know that we talked about this before, but the way that you guys are giving back in Dundalk and just being, present in the community, that just is amazing to me. It's powerful.
well, thank you. We appreciate that, and it's all for God, and that he gets the glory. To God be the glory. Amen.
Amen.
So we thank you again, and again, I'm gonna have you on again in the future, just to follow up with you and see what's happening, what's good with the ministry and what you're doing.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you everybody for watching. We really appreciate it. We are so glad you decided to join us tonight. Hey, look, don't be a stranger, but be a friend. Subscribe and like to our YouTube channel. Head over to our website, conversationchurchmd.com, if you want to know more information about our ministry and how you can help out, how you can be a part. Also, feel free to sow a seed into our ministry. You can head over to Cash App and look for Conversation Church and definitely sow a seed into our ministry so that we can be a blessing to others. We love you. May God continue to keep watch over you, and may you continue to be encouraged. Peace and love.